Have you ever felt like you're doing everything right, but your crops, they just don't seem to be thriving? Well, it turns out plants have a kind of secret language, a hidden diet that really determines their success. So today, we're going to unlock that code together for healthier, much more productive plants.
You know, it's the question every single farmer asks at some point. You've done the hard work, you prepared the land, you planted the seeds, you've been watering them, but the results are, frankly, disappointing. The growth is weak, the yield is low, so what's really going on?
The thing is, the answer isn't just one single thing. It's actually a really complex dance that's happening right there beneath your feet, in the soil. This chart, it might look complicated, but it gives us a peek into that world. The health of your crop really depends on this delicate balance of different nutrients all working together. Okay, so to really get this, we need to think about it in a new way. We're going to dive into what we're calling the plant secret diet, and the very first step is just to understand the basics. It's a really simple but powerful way to think about it, right? Just like you can't be healthy eating only one kind of food, a plant just can't thrive on only one type of fertilizer. Success, real success, comes from the right combination of ingredients, all working in harmony.
So, who are the key players in this diet? Let's meet the team. In this section, we're going to break down that big, complex chart we saw into its two main parts, the nutrients themselves and the specific jobs they do for the plant.
So on one side, we have the ingredients. These are the essential nutrients, the raw materials. Then, on the other side, we have the results, the critical functions that you actually want to see in a healthy crop. The real magic happens when you match the right ingredients to get the right results.
Let's look at a few of the stars here. You've got nitrogen, which gives you that beautiful, lush green growth. Then there's phosphorus. That's your foundation, building strong roots and providing energy. Potassium, it's the finisher, totally crucial for filling out grains. And calcium, well, it acts like the plant skeleton, giving it that structural strength. See, each one has a really distinct, vital role.
And what about the jobs they do? Well, photosynthesis is basically the plant's engine, turning sunlight into food. Disease resistance is its immune system, and strong root growth, that's its lifeline to water and every other nutrient in the soil. The bottom line is, without the right nutrients, the plant just can't do these absolutely essential jobs.
And this brings us to what might be the most important part of this whole explainer: synergy. Some nutrients are good on their own, sure, but they become absolute superstars when you pair them with the right partner. Let's see how this builds a winning team. Okay, so let's say your goal is to produce some really high-quality grain or fodder. What that means is you need complete proteins, and you just can't get there with only one ingredient. And this combo right here is the solution. Think of it like this. Nitrogen is the main building block of protein, but without sulfur, those protein chains are incomplete. Putting them together makes sure the plant can build the high-quality proteins that lead directly to better yield and better value.
Okay, what if your goal is different? What if you want to build a stronger foundation for your plant, which will lead to better flowering and fruit development down the line?
Here's another power couple for you. Phosphorus is what drives root development and energy, but boron is absolutely essential for cell division and moving sugars around, which directly impacts the quality of your flowers and fruit. So together, they create a plant that's both well-grounded and super productive.
And finally, what every farmer wants, a resilient crop, one that can defend itself against stress and disease. So how do we build that strength?
The answer is in combining potassium and calcium. Potassium helps manage water inside the plant and strengthens its overall resistance. Meanwhile, calcium builds strong cell walls, creating a literal physical barrier against pests and diseases. The result? A tougher, healthier plant from the inside out.
But here's the catch. Just as there are winning teams, there are also conflicts. Putting the wrong nutrients together at the wrong time, well, that can do a lot more harm than good. Let's look at the combinations you need to be really careful with.
And this is a really critical warning. In chemistry, they call this antagonism, which is just a fancy way of saying some nutrients just don't play well together. When certain nutrients are in the wrong valence, they can actually block each other from being absorbed by the plant, even if they're both right there in the soil.
Here's a classic example. If you apply high levels of calcium and phosphorus at the same time, they can bind together in the soil, forming compounds that the plant's roots just can't absorb. So even though you paid for both fertilizers, your crop gets the benefit of neither. It's a total lose-lose situation. Here's another really common mistake. Pushing a crop with a ton of nitrogen gets you that fast, lush growth, but if you don't have enough potassium to build strong cell walls and manage water, that growth is soft, it's weak, and it's super likely to fall over or get attacked by insects and disease. It's just growth without any real strength.
Okay, so with all this info about good teams and bad teams, synergies and conflicts, how do you actually put it into practice? That brings us to our final section, the farmer's playbook. This is your action plan.
These 5 rules are your guide. First, don't guess. Get your soil tested so you know exactly what you're starting with. Second, remember there is no single magic bullet. A balanced approach is always key. Third, pay attention to both the major nutrients and the minor ones. Fourth, understand that how and when you apply fertilizer is just as important as what you apply. And finally, remember that a plant's needs change as it grows. You have to feed it what it needs when it needs it.
You know, in the end, it all comes down to this simple, powerful equation. Balanced nutrition is the foundation for a healthy crop, and the healthy crop is the only real path to a better yield. The secret isn't about using more fertilizer, it's about using it smarter. So, what's the one change you'll make in your fields tomorrow to start unlocking your crop's true potential?